Got it.
Okay.
So I have created one separate user for our training.
Okay.
So everything I'm starting with IT. So which it will be easy to understand, which is a prerequisite. We can say all configurations I will start with IT. I
Okay.
think IT is one of the company name.
Mhm.
Yesterday I have created a user and few responsibilities. So these are the responsibilities I have created, which are starting with IT. So let's open any one of the responsibility. First we will open the forms.
You get the virtual copy in by downloading, or you do kind of have differently.
No, this one, the instance is in my system only.
Okay. Okay.
So it's installed in my system, which is again VMware only I'm using.
Mhm.
So VMware, it's a Windows 2003 where I have installed the application.
Okay.
So first we will create a business group. So ledger I have already created. Okay. So you are already aware how to create the ledger. I'm not going to create again the ledger. The same ledger I will use which I have already created. In that one I have used the structure which is a vision operation structure. Okay.
Okay.
So first we'll go to HRMS module.
Mhm.
We will create a business group first. Let's go to work structure, organization, description. So let's click on new. So all configurations I will start with IT
Okay.
because there are so many configurations exist, right? So for understanding purpose, we are using one prerequisite.
Mhm.
It's like a prefix, we can say, not prerequisites, it's a prefix.
Mhm.
So I'm creating on 1st Jan 2017. So location is not mandatory. If you want, you can give any one of the location.
Mhm. Can you will you be able to upload this virtual copy?
No, I don't know where how I can upload.
Okay. Okay. In Google Drive, you can't do that, right?
No, we can't able to do this one, I think.
Mhm.
See, basically, I can say this I have installed in my system, but I don't know whether this one you can able to upload or not.
Mhm.
So specific to this system.
Mhm.
So I have installed one whole task which is a apps only. Okay, not sure whether we can upload this and how it should.
There should be a file, right, where you are attaching that to your virtual machine.
Yeah, this is a file. This is a huge file. Okay, which will be around more than 200 GB.
Okay.
Okay, it's not possible, I think. So you can see 64 GB is a free space on 292. It's more than
Mhm.
200 GB which taken for the application.
Mhm.
Same instance with an instance from wherever we are using, it's the same one.
Okay.
So if we want, we can take any of the address, otherwise it's not mandatory. Just leave it. Save. So now here we need to take
Business
business
group.
group is the classification. enable. So click on others, business group information. Go to business group information. Here we will give the business group related information.
Mm-hmm.
IT business group, employee number automatic, applicant number we are taking as automatic, contingent worker automatic, grade flex field structure, so grade flex field, group flex field. Uh, take any one of the group flex field. So take as a people group flex field, job flex field. So there, these all are the flex fields in cost allocation flex in HRMS module.
Mm-hmm.
Position flex field, competency flex field. So legislation code is like take as a US currency USD. So fiscal year start 2017. So it will be date. So leave it these two. Click OK. Okay. So now business group is created. Once we create the business group, the ledger is already created. So the next step we need operating unit, right? If we want to start project implementation, the basic configuration of business group, ledger, and
The
operating
operating
unit
units.
is required. So business group, ledger, and legal entities are already done. So before
Mm-hmm.
creating operating unit, so now this is a vision instance, right? In your profile option, it already linked to vision in your site level. So first
Yep.
what we'll do, we'll change the business group profile option for this particular responsibility at the operating unit level. We'll attach the
Mm-hmm.
one which we have created.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we are creating the operating unit, that operating unit will be part of the business group which we have created.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
what will happen? It will
Point to
create
vision
under
of
vision only.
vision of.
We are not changing. So we are using IT HRMS manager, and here go HR business group. Oh, vision Italy is showing. Which let me which responsibility we are using. IT HRMS manager only. Business group. So here take it as a IT business
Mm-hmm.
group. In the same way, in Vision, it's using security profiles as well. So by default, whenever we are creating one business group, system will automatically create the security profile, which is enabling to use all organizations. So by default, system will create one security profile, so which will allow to all organizations. So we are attaching that one to here. Now go back to HRMS manager responsibility and create operating unit. So that way this operating unit will be come under IT business group. So again go to work structure, organization, description. So click on new. So IT operating unit. Save. So but operating unit, the location is mandatory. If you are not giving location, then it will give some errors on the tax when you are doing the taxation. Okay. Take anyone, that's not an issue. Yeah, this is a part of United States. So here we will take as a operating unit is the classification. So click on others. Operating unit information, where we need to link our ledger and legal entities. So ledger I have created as a Tata ledger. So legal entity also Tata legal entity. Operating unit short code ITOU. So now we have created the operating unit. So you are already aware of whenever we are creating operating unit, we need to run replicate seeded data. So go back to sysadmin and run replicate seeded data program for the specific operating unit. So okay, meantime this program will complete. So meantime we will go back and add the profile options, multi-arc related profile options for project's responsibility. Okay. So now we have created the project accounting responsibility. So for that specific responsibility, we need to add multi-arc profile options. So take first we are going with the project costing super user responsibility, which is going to use for costing module. So first we'll go and discuss on the project costing module. So let's select the project costing super user. So MO operating unit is the profile option. IT operating unit. So there are 5 profile options we need to set. MO operating unit, MO security profile. So generally security profile is not mandatory if you are not using, but if this is a Vision instance, it's already using. So if we are not given any security profile, then it will take again a Vision security profile. No problem. Instance down, it will that will open again. It's taking too much time. So go back to system admin. So we need to set the profile options. Profiles, system, responsibility, IT, project casting supervisor. Combo operating unit. I think this we have already said. Just we will cross check. Oh, IT operating unit we have added at our responsibility level. So then set MO security profile. IT business group. Then HR security profile. IT business group. HR business group will default based on your security profile. Let's check. HR business group. So it's defaulted. So then you need to set ledger. So GL ledger. This data ledger we are using. So we have completed the profile options which are related to multi-arc profile options for projects casting responsibility. So now let's go to project casting responsibility. So go to setup. First step when see now we are ready for doing start the project implementation. Right, we have a basic configuration or exists and we set the profile options for our responsibility and the responsibility is ready. So first step is we need to complete implementation options. Let's go to setup, system, implementation options. See, your operating unit is defaulting, IT operating unit. So based on the operating unit, your ledger is defaulting. Business group, it's a security. A reason it's not showing the actual name of the business group, but it will show as a R. So that doesn't matter. Our business group is defaulting. Then our calendar. So the calendar which you use for the ledger, that calendar is defaulting, right?
Okay.
So first, if we want to complete implementation options, we need organizations and organization hierarchy. So if you are not defining organization hierarchy, you can't able to complete the implementation options. So the first step, we need to create the organizations. Let's go create organizations and organization hierarchy. Then we'll come back and complete implementation options. So for creating organizations and organization hierarchy, if required, I can go and create from HRMS responsibility, or we can create from the projects itself where we have a shared HRMS forms. So go to setup. Navigation for creating organizations is setup, resource and organizations, HR foundation, work structure, organization and description. So the same HRMS organization form it will open. Click on new. You create IT finance department. So as I told this organizations, the base is based on cost center are based on your department values, right? So I am I am creating organization based on my department. So IT is the company name, say finance department. So location is not mandatory. Let no need to add the location. By default, we will add HR organization is one of the classification. Later I will explain why and what is the use of this classification assigning to the project organizations. Okay. So then assign project related classifications. As I told, we are having 4 classifications which are related to projects. Project task owning organization. So within this project task owning organization, if this department need to handle for the specific type of projects. So basically we are having 3 type of projects. So contract, indirect and capital. Indirect, contract and capital, 3 type of projects we are having. Indirect projects means where we can handle only the costing information. So it's like a internal projects or R&D projects we are calling as a indirect projects. So where you are going to maintain only the cost, that cost is a expense for the organization. So we are not able to bill to any customer or we are not treating as a capital expenditure. Okay. When going to contract projects, its contract projects are nothing but a completely a customer projects. So for the customer purpose, if we are doing anything, that projects we are calling as a contract projects. So where we are accruing all the expenditures, there the same again as the expenditures are based on your billing terms, we are going to bill to customer. That is what the contract projects. So capital projects means it's a whatever the expenditures we are accruing, maybe some of the expenditures are some are all expenditure is like a capital expenditure. Then we are transferring that capital expenditure to assets for capitalization purpose. Those we are calling as a capital projects, right? If either this organization is eligible to maintain all type of projects or this organization required to maintain only some specific type of projects, so that you can give in the additional organization information. Okay. So click on the others. So if you select, put cursor here, it will open allow entry for indirect projects, allow entry for capital projects, allow entry for contract projects. So if you are not giving anything, system will by default it will take yes.
Okay.
Okay, it will allow to maintain all type of projects. If you want to restrict, then you need to go here and say no. So which projects this organization is eligible to handle, only those projects we will put as a yes, remaining will put no. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the additional controls. So sometimes some organizations are going to maintain only indirect projects. Those organizations we need to give indirect projects.
Okay.
So the next classification, project, expenditure or event organization. So the remaining 2 organizations you can see, invoice collection organization and manufacturing organizations. We are not going to use these classifications. It's not mandatory. Basically, in 99% of your implementations, we will go with the centralized invoice processing. Okay, centralized invoice processing means across the organizations, I will go with the billing. All my invoices will be against the operating unit. So that time this classification no need to attach to any of your cost centers, which is a organizations. If you want to go with the decentralized invoice processing, that means each cost center level you are maintaining your customer invoices. That time it's required to attach this organization, which are the cost centers eligible to maintain customer invoices. Okay, so that is very difficulties is there in that process, and mostly 99% no one use decentralized invoice processing. Okay. So we are not going to add this one too. So we'll add expenditure or event owning organization. So you are clear on the what these classifications will do, right? Yesterday we have discussed on that. Similar way, we'll create few more organizations. Admin department. So same classifications we will add for these organizations as well. Project task owning organization. Project event or project expenditure or event owning organization. IT purchase department. Project task owning organization. Click on new. IT sales department. Project task. Okay. So now we have created 4 organizations. So is it clear how to create the project organization?
Yeah.
So now we'll go to organization hierarchy. So in the same navigation, you are having organization hierarchy and global hierarchy. You need to decide whether you want to create hierarchy or global hierarchy. So mostly we will go with the global hierarchy, most of the implementations. Okay. So I clicked on the global hierarchy form. The form is same, whether if you are clicking on hierarchy or global hierarchy, the form is same. The system will automatically identify whether it's a hierarchy or global hierarchy. So IT PA hierarchy. So project accounting purpose we are creating. So this project accounting hierarchy is not a primary hierarchy or not a position hierarchy. So your HRMS hierarchy may be a primary and position hierarchy. So save the name. So version 1 and effective start dates. Save. So this is a not a top node position control enabled. So we are not using a position base. So come to organization, click on F11. Here we need to select the business group. So the top level, the business group will select. Under business group, add the operating unit as a subordinate. So this is the IT operating unit we have created on the IT business group. So operating unit is a subordinate for your business group. So let's click on down. Under business group, we will add all our project organizations. When you are adding project organizations here, if you are having a child and a parent relationship in your GL cost center segment, same way we will create the organizations as well. So first you need to attach the parent organizations. Under that parent organizations, you need to attach the child organization. Okay. So here we are not created as a parent and child relation. So first IT finance department. So if you want to attach on child, you need to click down and add the child organization. Admin department, IT purchase department, IT sales department. Yeah, right. This is what we can create the organization hierarchy. So how we can add the organization. So whatever the project organizations we have created, all are adding under operating unit. Okay. So is it clear? Any question with hierarchy?
Oh, nothing.
Now we'll go to implementation options. So let's go to setup, system, implementation options is the navigation. These all are defaulted. So the calendar, we will use the same calendar which is coming from your ledger.
Ledger.
Summarization period type, you need to decide. Project accounting summarization will have transaction summarization, either you want to use PA period or GL period. So we'll go with the PA period only. So here PA period type you need to select. So the PA period types, the list of value will come based on your calendar. In this calendar, you have created the periods based on what are the period types you used. Okay. So this is a standard one. In a standard one, the periods are created by using different type of period types. So monthly, quarterly, yearly, weekly. So if you want to go with the PA period type weekly, you need to select as a weekly. Otherwise, we'll go with the monthly.
Monthly. Okay.
So here I am going with monthly basis. If you want, you can use as a weekly. But that in this calendar only, if you are going with weekly, then go back to your GL calendar. In this calendar, you need to define your monthly periods as well as weekly periods.
Weekly period.
So default asset book, here it's not mandatory. I'm not adding any default asset book. Later, when we are integrating to fixed assets, there we will select that time. So maintain common PA and GL periods. If you enable this checkbox, as I told, you no need to open and close PA period. You need to open and close GL period. Automatically PA period will open and close. So I'm not enabling here. We'll see manually how open and close the PA periods, both PA and GL periods within the projects.
Okay.
So next, we'll see. This is, as I told, reporting hierarchy. So the hierarchy we have created as a ITPA hierarchy version 1, and start organization we will add as a operating unit. Okay. So under that operating unit, whatever the project organizations you have added, all are eligible for reporting.
Okay.
Next, go to currency tab. As I told, functional currency is default from your ledger. Whatever the currency you are using in ledger, that currency it will calling as a functional currency, which is defaulting from ledger. So what is the costing, exchange rate, date type? So we have two options, as I told, PA period end date or expenditure item date. So mostly 95% of implementations we will use as a expenditure item date, which is a best practice, you can say. So exchange rate type. So here you need to select whether you want to go with the corporate, spot, or want to use different exchange rates. So the next tab, project setup. So in project setup, we need to decide what is project number, manual or automatic. If it is a manual, it will ask what is the alphanumeric or numeric. If it is automatic, it will ask what is next number. Okay. So I'm going with manual. Okay, we will give the name what we want instead of number. So this is again a hierarchy. As I told, this hierarchy is a project and task owning organization hierarchy. This hierarchy is going to validate when you are creating the project. The organization list of value will come based on your classifications, which is project task owning organization is exists for which organizations. Those organizations will come in the list of values. Once you select the one of the organization and trying to save, then system will come back and validate that organization should be exist in the hierarchy which you are attached under project and task owning hierarchy. Understood, right?
Can you repeat it? Sorry.
So this, when you are creating the projects, we need to select the organization. Which organization is owned by that project? Okay. That list of values will come based on the classification project task owning organization. Once you select any one of the organization from the list, then it will come back and validate that organization exists in this hierarchy or not.
Okay.
So operating unit we are adding. So this staffing is moreover related to your resource management. So now no need to do anything here. Just add publish to everyone and 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week. So I will explain more on when we go with the resource management. So next tab, as I told, expenditure and costing both are a single tab. Okay. So what is your expenditure cycle start date? So you want to start from Sunday or Monday or which day your expenditure week start day. I'm going with Monday. Whether you want to use to calculate overtime calculations, we need to enable this one. So contingent workers time cards with purchase order integration, I'm not enabling this one. So we can't able to do that one. Okay. So next, default supplier cost credit account. Now leave it. Later we will come back and discuss when we are going with the adjustments. Okay, this is not a mandatory. When if you want to do the adjustments for the supplier invoices in projects, then it's a mandatory. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll come back and we will add the code combination later. So interface cost to GL. So if you want to transfer the cost which you are creating within the projects by using as a time cards or a miscellaneous pre-approved batches, which is the transactions you are creating within the projects if you want to transfer to GL or batch. So if you want to transfer, so first two are related to a labor transactions. The second, last one is a non-labor transaction. Here again the hierarchy you are having. This hierarchy is related to your this hierarchy is going to validate when you are booking the expenditure. You need to select as a expenditure organization. That expenditure organization, whatever you have selected, that organization should be exist under this hierarchy.
Okay.
ITP hierarchy version 1 and the start organization, the operating unit. Yes, these three tabs is related to your project billing. So this one is related to project billing and last two is related to your intercompany billing. So now we are not going with the project billing module. So I am not explaining these things. So first we will complete the project costing module. Then when we are going with the project billing, we will come back and explain this, what this configurations, and we will do the configuration that time. Okay. So if we want to complete this configuration, this project invoices is mandatory. This particular field is mandatory. If you are not adding the value here, you can't able to save this form. Okay.
Okay.
So these three we will discuss later. Let's save. So now this is completed. So any questions with implementation options?
No, Chandra.
So now next topic we have discussed about the creating expenditure types, right? So for creating expenditure types, there is a prerequisites called expenditure categories, revenue categories, unit of measure is a mandatory prerequisites. So we'll discuss that expenditure types. So first unit of measure, let's go to system, setup system units. So this is a lookup. This is a lookup. Say a lookup. In this lookup, if you want, you can extend. So this is a instance which already exists. This currency and hours. We need only currency and hours as a units. So let's just check if already exists. Then no need to define again, right? If not exists, then we will create one lookup code as a currency.
Okay.
Currency as well as hours. So both are already exist. So no need to create again the lookup values for unit of measure. Now the next will come back and will create the expenditure categories, revenue categories, and sorry, unit of measure already there. For expenditure categories and revenue categories we need to define. So let's go to setup, expenditures, expenditure categories. So here basically there is no validation. I am creating IT labor category. And effective dates. So this will use grouping of your expenditure types, and moreover expenditure categories are using for reporting purpose only. So you can report based on the category wise, you can see your costing information. And some controls you can, instead of expenditure type, you can do the controls from expenditure category level.
Okay.
Miscellaneous categories. IT travel category. So we have created three categories. Okay. Three
Mm-hmm.
expenditure categories. Now we'll go to revenue categories. Again, this is also one of the lookup where we can add the lookup values. So here we'll decide like what whether revenue category is time and material, service fees, or any fees. Okay, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's click on new ITT and M
Yeah.
time and material. So it is the first one. Let's create a new IT fees. Okay. So clear, right? These three expenditure
Yeah.
categories, revenue categories, and unit of measure. Now we'll go with the
Mm-hmm.
expenditure type. So whenever you are creating expenditure type, we need to more careful while creating the expenditure types. So remaining previous, if you are creating, if something is wrong with the name or anything, you can able to delete.
Mm-hmm.
So but expenditure types, even though if we are not used, we can't able to delete if something is goes
Okay.
wrong with the name
Mm-hmm.
or this thing. So optionally, we are having a end date option. You can end date that expenditure type, but it will exist in the system. You can't able to
Okay.
delete.
Mm-hmm.
So here we will define the expenditure types. IT airfare. So what is the expenditure category? It will come under IT travel category.
Okay.
What is revenue category? It will be IT service fees. Whatever we are
Mm-hmm.
provided the services, for that one we are generating invoices. Sorry, generating revenue here. Unit of measure, it's a
Currency.
currency because this is a non-labor
Mm-hmm.
expenditure type, right?
Yeah.
Now where you want to use this expenditure type, that is what expenditure type class. So each expenditure type, if you want to attach any tax classification code, you can attach the tax classification code. But in a real
Mm-hmm.
time, your taxes are not based on your expenditure types. It will be based on your transactions, right? Not specific
Yeah.
expenditure types. So
Mm-hmm.
in real time, we are not going to add any tax code to specific expenditure type. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want, you can manage the tax codes through expenditure type. So here where you want to use, that is what the expenditure type classes. If you are not adding any expenditure type class, then there is no use of this particular expenditure type. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is the expenditure type class? As I told, we are having, these are the list of expenditure type classes.
Mm-hmm.
Important transactions, expense reports, inventory, miscellaneous, overtime, straight time, supplier invoice, usage, and work in process. So maybe I want to use in payable invoice as our against the purchase orders. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Both are comes under supplier invoice. Your
Okay.
purchase orders are payable invoices. Maybe I want to use in expense reports.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will use in miscellaneous transactions within the projects. Okay. When I am trying to save, it is giving a pop-up message because if you are not added expenditure type class for any of your expenditure type, you will get this notification, this note.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some expenditure types existing which are not associated with the expenditure type class. So these expenditure types will not be accessible during expenditure entry. So this is only a note, but not
Mm-hmm.
our expenditure type. This particular expenditure type we have added. So maybe this is a global configuration. Okay, this is
Okay.
not specific to operating unit. So this
Mm-hmm.
one you can use across the operating units. So some other operating units has defined some expenditure types which are not having the expenditure type class.
Mm-hmm.
Now go to second one same way. Cab expenses. So same category, same service type, same currency. So here also we'll add supplier invoices, expense reports, or miscellaneous transactions. Next we'll go with IT miscellaneous is one more expenditure type which is non-labor. So this will come under IT miscellaneous category. So I can say this is a fee instead of service fee. This is same currency. This is the start date of the organization. Maybe this one also I can use an supplier invoices, expense reports, or miscellaneous transactions. These three are labor, non-labor expenditure types we have created. Now we will create the labor expenditure types. Professional, which will come under labor category. It will be a time and material. So hours is the unit of measure. Okay. And start date. Now expenditure type class, I am going with straight time.
Okay.
So I'll create one more IT contract. So contract is the expenditure type we are using for contract people, and professional we will use for the permanent employees. So same labor category, same time and material, hours. So here also I will use as a straight time. So these two expenditure types I am using only for straight time purpose. Okay. Say I will create one more expenditure type for overtime purpose. Okay. I am creating as with a overtime. So this will also labor category. Same. So here I'm adding only overtime expenditure type class. If the employee is worked overtime, so he need to use instead of professional, he need to use for that extra time, he need to select as a overtime expenditure type. Okay.
Okay.
So is it clear this expenditure types? Any questions with this?
No, tell me.
So rate required is not required to enable here. So rate required, we are not going to give any rates on specific basis of expenditure type. It will be basis on your employees, the rate has to come, right? So that is the reason we are not enabled here. Fine. So we'll go discuss next topics, or you want me to stop and continue tomorrow with the new topics? Whatever you are comfortable.
We'll stop and continue from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fine.